We're talking to Cathy on her carnivore diet lifestyle journey. And this is week 15. Cathy, welcome. It's great to see you. And right before we jumped on, I was commenting that I'm seeing collarbones, like face, collarbones. Yeah,
They've always
I'm
been there. They've
seeing.
just been hiding. They've been shy.
How do you feel on after you've completed week 15? So you're starting week 16. Anything
Yeah.
particular this week?
Yeah, loads this week. We've got lots of things to talk about. So I'm just going to highlight at the top what we're going to talk about, and then we can dive in. But obviously, after last week, I did the pictures of my face that you'd given me a picture of, and the side by side, and it's phenomenal. Like in 14 weeks, it was just incredible, and I hadn't realized actually how big I got. I think because when you do get big, you know it. You don't need to be told it. You know you need to do something. Oftentimes you are trying to do something and it's not working. You already carry the burden of, I'm not at my peak with my health. I am not really looking the way I want to look. And all of those things without people commenting or trying to shame you or suggesting what you might be able to do for your life, etc. So I'd sort of like half looked at myself during that time, I think. And I thought, well, there's nothing I can do. This is what I look like today. So I either
Mhm.
go out into the world and do my thing or I don't. So you just have to say, well, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm just going to go and do my thing. But seeing the photographs side by side was quite shocking, I suppose. The difference is phenomenal. And what was super interesting, because you and I were chatting about it, the comments that came underneath, lots of people wanting to know what I was doing, and
This was
the
on
suggestion,
Facebook, by the way,
Facebook,
just for
yeah,
everybody.
and LinkedIn, I did it as well. I sort of put on LinkedIn, you can't lead unless you're well. You know, if you don't prioritize yourself and your health, you can't really lead to the way that you want to lead. And quite a few messages I got assuming I was on some kind of weight loss injection, which was
Yeah,
really
I saw that.
interesting.
Yeah.
That to see vast difference, and I'm so glad we documented it. I'm so glad we had that event because I generally didn't take photographs of myself.
Mhm.
And I kind of was in a group and I couldn't avoid having the photograph taken. I'm so
Mhm.
glad that I did because my neck, I didn't realize how big my neck was. And now it's not where I want it to be yet, but it's a lot slimmer than it was.
Yeah.
And just the whole vibrancy of my eyes, my hair, everything. I'm so glad. But it was so interesting that people saw the difference between the two photographs and immediately thought, she's taken drugs.
Yeah, yeah. Because for so many people, that's been their only option, you know? And
Yeah. And I
and
get it. I totally get it.
yeah, yeah. And what was the feedback? Because what you did then was you decided to out yourself as a carnivore. Was that
Yeah.
nerve-wracking at all?
Well, not now because it's such a part of my life now. So at first, yes, but now, what was it happened? Oh, yesterday was tricky because we'd taken my husband to the airport. And then I thought,
Mhm.
well, while we're in the city, let me do Santa's Wonderland for my youngest because it's probably the last year we'll do it.
Uh-huh.
And just because she's getting bigger and whatever. So we enjoyed the day. It was my big girl, my little girl, and me. So we went and did Santa's Wonderland. And then afterwards, I mean, in Santa's Wonderland, it's hot dogs or beef burgers or chips or whatever, whatever. And so the girls had a hot dog, but I was like, I don't want that because I know that sausage isn't going to be in alignment with my system. And then afterwards, we went to a big, big mall in Adelaide, one of the better malls, and I could not find anything to eat. And I was getting desperate because it was like 2 o'clock, and I was like, I hadn't had breakfast, but I was absolutely not going to have anything that didn't align with my eating. So I was determined on that. Then we eventually found a pub, and luckily, the online it said the kitchen's shut at 3, but they actually shut at 2:30. But I said, look at the thing, and they went, go on, quick, put your order through. So we did.
Okay.
So
Woo.
I ate, but it was that's the only time where I felt like this is tricky because this is a choice for me on the way I'm eating. My eldest daughter was getting stressed and upset because we both suggested them all and we couldn't find a place. And it's not your fault. I said, but it's
Mm.
interesting that all of these places in this really quite prestigious mall don't sell steak. They sold meats of all different variations in like a Mexican thing and a kebab type way or all of those things, but it wasn't quite what I wanted because I'm terrified of having a gallstone attack, of course. So it's not just about me being fussy
Yes.
with meat. It's about I can't bear having another attack. And because
Yeah.
I don't know what's in their sauces and I don't know what's in their ingredients, I can't risk it because the attacks are horrific.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we did that. So that's the only time it felt like, oh, this is a bit tricky because I didn't think it would be so hard to find someone that did a steak. But generally, it's become such a big part of my life now that it doesn't bother me. And yeah, I suppose I wait for people to ask. I don't go and try and converting, sorry, everybody into my way of life. But I didn't when I was a vegetarian. I didn't go and try and convert everybody into being a vegetarian. And there's one of my children, I'll be as vague as I can. One of my children works with someone who's a vegan, and
Yeah.
I respect everybody's life choices, 100%. Like, I respect everybody's religion. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I
Mhm.
respect your right to have your opinion and your beliefs. But this person absolutely hammers my child on eating meat. And it's getting to the point that I would say it's verging on bullying. And
Oh my
they are in a
goodness.
position of power, and so I
Right.
said to my child, you need to handle this and you need to say respectfully, I respect your right to choose your lifestyle. I've listened to everything that you have to say about the reasons why you live your life the way you do, and I don't want to discuss it anymore. I said, put a
Yeah.
line in the sand because I said
Yeah.
that is an abuse of power and it's verging on bullying. And like, I'm not going out to everyone going, don't eat that carrot. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, you want to eat carrots? You go ahead and eat carrots. But if people ask me because they've seen the massive transformation and they ask me, I'll happily share, but not in a preachy, you should do this way, because I feel like everyone gets their own rhythm, everyone gets their own equilibrium, everyone gets to choose. And quite
Yeah.
frankly, in my worst day, if someone had come preaching at me, it would have put me off 100%. So people need to find their own answers.
Yeah, and you did it in a really good way. I just thought that you showed really admirable restraint in the way that you shared it, and especially around the people that said, "Oh, you're on a GLP-1." And you didn't even know what that was because you hadn't heard that term before, so you kinda had to Google it, and you were
Yeah.
putting, "Yeah, definitely not." And then you did a second post to say, "Update, I just need to comment, no judgment for the people that are on these medications, but I'm not." And you posted a link to this channel for people that were curious. Have you had anybody follow up after they looked at the channel? Has anyone reached out or commented privately and just kind of said anything at all? Any sort
And
of
they haven't, but I think it's a very personal journey. And I think sometimes when you are in distress yourself, you don't want to share that publicly. So I totally get that.
uh,
I have had conversations with friends of mine who are leaders who are in health crises, and they've seen, because let's face it, it wasn't a weight loss thing for me. It was a health thing,
oh
100%.
yeah,
Like my
absolutely.
health was so bad. Like I was in fear for my life. And I know that sounds dramatic. And I'm not saying I thought I was imminently going to die, but I was thinking, how long have I got left at this pace?
Yeah,
With things getting worse and worse every day, am I going to be here to see all of my children into adulthood? I genuinely were having those thoughts. And so
yeah.
for me, it wasn't a weight loss thing; it was a health thing, and the weight loss has been amazing. And when I say weight loss, I don't even know what I weigh. I don't care.
You've never
I'm
weighed
just
yourself,
feeling
not
it
at the
in my
beginning?
body.
Yeah,
I weighed
yeah,
myself at the
absolutely.
beginning. I knew what I was, but I don't
Yeah,
weigh myself anymore.
yeah. And so you know what you were at the beginning, and, I think you said you'll weigh yourself, like, in a year, or when you think you've arrived at where your body feels comfortable, you'll weigh yourself just to kind of see what that looks like on the scale. And even then, that's not necessarily going to be any kind of definitive number because I think that really the only true measure that matters, besides how you feel, and your overall wellness. But if we're talking about body composition, I think the only measure that matters would be like a DEXA scan, which I haven't had, but I want to. I want to have one of those. that measures you look at your visceral fat, and that's an important measure. So there's a thing that I've only kind of learned about coming into this community called skinny fat. Have you heard of skinny fat? That's people who look really, really like slim, and it's
Okay.
people can be like, they look really slim. They don't have a lot of subcutaneous fat, but there's tons of visceral fat. So they're inside their body surrounding their organs is a lot of visceral fat. And a DEXA scan shows where the fat is deposited. And that's incredibly unhealthy. So you have somebody who has all the risks of obesity without looking obese at all. So a really good measure is, you know, I want to get a DEXA scan to kind of see where am I with my visceral fat compared to my subcutaneous fat, like the fat you can pinch versus the fat that's around your organs, because that is the next thing that I really want to start concentrating on. I want to start concentrating on things I can do, adjustments I can make, because I want to really get that visceral fat, that fat around my organs down. It might already be really low. I don't know. I have no idea, but it's worth finding out. And I think a DEXA scan here in Australia, I was talking to someone recently who got one for like $250 or something like that. So it's something that I might do once a year and just sort of see where I'm at with that. And so that's why, body composition is so much more important than weight, because we've talked about it before that muscle weighs literally twice as much as fat. And when you're eating this way, I mean, look at these muscles. I do no weights. I'll be 64 in April. I do nothing to deserve this. Tapping does not earn this. I tap with this arm all the time. And this one's got, it's just as good. Like, it's crazy. That's adding to my weight, that muscle. And so I'm putting on muscle without even trying. And that's why if I got on the scale and used that as my guide, I might look at it and go, why can't I get rid of, because in my old sort of comparison, that weight would be higher than I would expect for the way that my clothes fit and something. So I might get attached to that number and start obsessing about it, when in reality, because of this muscle that I've got, I'm doing great. And that my fat level, certainly subcutaneous fat's dropped a huge amount. But I am going to be talking to, in a couple of days, to Sarah, who I tapped with on this channel for her sugar cravings. We're doing a 2-month check-in, and she's going to talk to me about, I have know nothing about this. She's just said, I'm really excited to tell you how tapping has changed my life, which I love, which, is great to hear. But also she says that sardine fasts are a game changer. So I'm really excited to hear what she says about that. And you'll be able to watch the video. Everybody watching this video will be able to watch that video. We can discuss it at some point in future if that's something you ever want to try. But yeah, I'll talk more about it, when I talk about the whole why you would do it, what benefits there are, how to do it, because I don't know, the idea of just eating nothing but sardines for 3 days or a month or a week, I don't know how long you do it for. We'll have all that information. It better be delicious is what I'm thinking, because I can't do something like, I don't have the ability. And you, on that Facebook post where you showed the before and after pictures and people were freaking out going, what the heck have you done? Oh my goodness. When you said, I've made lifestyle changes and I'm eating whole foods, and you didn't say I'm eating carnivore. I mean, later on you said link to the channel to look at my journey. But when you would say that about lifestyle choices, changes, every single person, good for you. It's really hard. It's not easy. And you've done it. And every single time you'd come back and go, what would you say to them?
Well, I said, I can understand that viewpoint for sure. But I said, if it was hard, I wouldn't be able to do it 100%, like with everything I hold in my life. So thank you for the compliment. But I said, it actually has been the easiest thing if I've ever done. And finally, and thankfully, I found my pathway. And I think
Yeah.
it's really important to be sensitive on how we're responding, because we don't know what people are going through. When people tend to say, it's really hard work. Well done. And I'm like, that's such a lovely, kind, loving thing to say, very supportive. And thank you. But actually, it really has been the easiest thing I've ever done. And it's 100% fact that if it was hard, I wouldn't be able to do it because I carry a lot of hard in my life. Like there's a lot of areas in my life that I love, but it is challenging and it is full and it is intense. And this is something that, and let's face it, guys, I wouldn't have been fat if everything had been easy. I wouldn't have been fat in the first place. Like if it was hard before, and that's why I stayed fat because it was
Yeah.
hard. And
And
every
it
time
wasn't
I
like you weren't
try to
trying.
go on 100%, like I would be on all of the things doing absolutely. I mean, let's face it, when I started, I was having one salad and two shakes a day on the doctor's
Yeah.
recommendation to get ready for my surgery, which I postponed till May. But I mean, that was easy in the fact that I knew what I was doing every day, but I felt sick. I didn't have any energy. I felt lethargic. I was not vibrant. My skin was not good. My eyes weren't bright and sparkly. My hair was horrible. Like it was having an effect on me. And so this way of going, this way of living has been easy. It's been simple. I know what I can have. I know what I can't have. I really listen to my body now. So last night I was really hungry. I had two steaks last night because I was like, I'm hungry. It wasn't two massive steaks. It was a reasonably sized one and a smaller one.
Hmm.
But I don't starve my body, whereas previously I would have starved my body and put it into crisis. Now my body's beginning to trust me again because I eat until I'm satiated. And sometimes it's like, I can't eat that last mouthful. Well, that never happened to me either. Like our dog's like, amazing. I'm so glad you didn't eat that last mouthful. Because I go, here you go, Mally, and quickly give it to him. But, it was clean your plate and stuff it down and all of the old talk. But as well, like, as you were saying earlier, I'm a friend did inbox me about that post and congratulated me and said how proud she was of me. A long-term friend. We've been friends for decades. We're overseas from each other, but we're still very much in touch. And she was saying that she had done life changes and it had helped her and all of the things and whatever. And I was like supportive of that. But one of the things that she said that did make me a little bit sad for her was she said, I weigh every single day.
Right.
And I get it because I've done that. I've
Yeah.
done that.
It,
I've weighed
so,
every
sh-
single morning.
so she's doing calorie restriction or watching her calories.
She's
Is that what
doing,
it is?
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't pry too much because it's a personal journey and I feel like she told me what she was comfortable in telling me and that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. I didn't pry, but I just felt sad that the numbers on the scales are still ruling her life because for the first time in my life, I genuinely don't give a beep what the scales say. And that's the
Well,
first time ever.
when you're looking at the scale, in my experience, the only times in my life where I've looked at the scale every single morning was when I was white knuckling my way through some kind of eating plan that wasn't aligned, that wasn't making me happy. The only joy in it was that number might go down every day a little tiny bit. And so looking at the scale was necessary to keep me motivated. And then sometimes, with fat loss, you drop a little and then you tick up a little and then you drop a little and tick up a little drop. And I had to really psych myself up for those times it would tick up a little bit before it would drop down. It was a roller coaster. And I don't weigh myself every day. I really rarely do. Sometimes I'm curious because I've noticed a change in my body and I'm like, "Well, I wonder what this looks like on the scale," because I've never been a daily weigher. Like I said, unless I'm doing some really drastic program where I am so involved in this special thing I'm doing that it's almost like, when you think of somebody in a prison, the old cartoon idea where they're like doing hatches on the wall, they're like scratch, 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 scratch. Here's how many days I've been in prison. One to another one. Cross off another day because you are counting the days till you can get out of prison. And every time I'm looking at the scale in the mornings, evenings, whatever, when I'm doing something, what I'm really doing is counting the days until I can get out of the prison of that way of eating, of that diet. That doesn't happen with carnivore. I feel like I'm on the outside of the prison for the first time in my life. Do you count the days when you're enjoying your life and feeling great? No, you don't count the days. In fact, every now and then I have to say to myself, okay, slow down and appreciate this. I want to really I don't want to take it for granted. And that's why I say, if there's a way for me to do a sardine fast, that I am not counting the days and I'm not looking at the scale, I'm interested, really interested to hear what Sarah has to say about that, because game changer, interesting. I mean, carnivore is such a game changer. Lion diet was another game changer. Maybe sardine fast is another game changer as well. So, um, I was also going to ask you, yes, I want to talk about this event that you had, and congratulations. You were the winner. You posted the picture of nominee and the poster. Where are they? Behind you, they're winner. There it is. I saw the nomination, and then the next photo was the winner. And I was like, oh, yes. And this is for your coaching business.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had talked probably a month and something ago when we were talking about clothes, and you had bought a dress for this event when you knew you'd been nominated and you were going, right? And the dress was comfortable, but I think you said it was a little bit tight when you first bought it, like a month ago or something. I saw those photos. You looked gorgeous. The dress is absolutely beautiful, and it did not look tight at all. What did it feel like wearing it in terms of the fit?
So it fitted beautifully, like really, really well. Um, and I felt pretty. I did. I felt attractive. I felt it looked great. I felt like I looked great. I had my hair done and my makeup done. And it was just such a great dress. And we'll probably put photographs underneath so people can see. But even like my body composition from what it was, we're 15, what are we this week? Yeah, so it was on my
Week
15th
15.
week. Yeah. So from the pictures in Sydney to the event night, a very different shape of body. But it was so lovely. It's the first time in probably decades that I've gone out and felt good.
So cool. And not had
Yeah.
any stress. I mean, you probably were excited about putting that dress on.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I was saying to you, we're having a conversation about it. And I said, it's nice and I'm looking forward to as well because I'm only 15. This is my 16th week. So I'm looking at a year's time. Basically, I'm like, oh, I'll be excited to see what I'm like at, you know, I've done the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. That's what I'm interested in seeing where I am. But I'm
Yeah.
excited. Number one, I've got suitcases full of clothes, as we know. So I'm sorted all the way down to a small size. I've got plenty of clothes because I've never thrown them out and they're squirreled away all over the house. But I'm excited to be able to go into a clothing shop and look at something I like and then go to that rather than go to the size section and go, what could fit me here that doesn't make me look like a, 85-year-old lady when I'm only in my
Yeah.
40s. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen some impeccably dressed 85-year-old ladies who are absolutely gorgeous. And I hope I look like that when I'm that age. But I'm only in my 40s and I want to look my age. And sometimes what you can find to fit you when you're a bigger size doesn't really reflect your personality or your style or who you see yourself as a person. And so
Or
it
where
is
you
nice
are
to
in your
think,
life.
yeah, so it's nice to feel like I'll be able to go in and see something I love and then just pick up the size that would suit my body shape and go and try it on and see if it suits me. So that's a whole new opening up of my world because I've done online shopping for as long as I can remember because I can't bear
Hmm.
trudging through, trying to find the size, trying to find something that feels like me, going into the horrendously lit dressing rooms. Guys, do you want to sell clothes? Because if you do, you need to make the dressing rooms bigger. You need to put a nice, comfy chair in there. And you need to do the lighting so that we don't look like we're under a strobe light being interrogated. Like, it's
Yeah.
not rocket science. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I did order a dress prior to this one, and it wasn't the jam. Like, I put it on, it really didn't do anything for me. It didn't make me look good. It didn't make my shape look good. And so I was like, no, I'm going to send that back. And then I got this one and I felt fantastic in it. And I actually got a lot of compliments on the night as well. And I think because I felt good in it, I was probably a little bit shiny because I was like, "Oh, I just feel confident. I feel good. I feel, like I belong. I don't feel conspicuous in my, potato sack that I stuck a sequin on. I'm actually wearing a really nice dress that I feel good in." So that was
Potato
nice. It
sack.
was a nice experience. And I was dancing at the end of the night. And yeah, it was lovely. It was a really nice evening.
I don't think we've shared with our audience here a full body shot of you from back when we had the event that you and I met at, got together with the whole carnivore journey started, but I do have those. And so I don't know if you have seen those photos from that event where you can see your full body shot, but that I was looking at that and comparing it to the image of you in the dress and just looking at it, and I just think back to a few weeks ago, maybe 3, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, where you were sort of saying, "No, I'm not seeing a big difference, but my kids are seeing difference, my friends are seeing a difference," because you were kind of projecting into, I wanna be my destination sort of ideal body composition, and so you weren't really seeing the change that other people were seeing, and so now we had talked about this in the past when you sent me photos that you had done, like, in front of the bathroom mirror, like, that you had taken before that I didn't know you had taken. So front, back, and side, and then afters wearing the same, you know, gear that you were wearing, front, back, and side, and you're sending them to me. Do you see a difference? Is there a difference? I don't, and I'm like, "Oh my God." And I drew this line showing the difference in your stomach, like in the thing, I'm like, "You've lost a third of your stomach already." And so every time I see a photo of you now, and even looking now and seeing these collarbones and your throat, your neck and all that stuff, I just go, "I wonder if she can see it now." And when I looked at
Yeah,
that photo of you on Facebook in your beautiful dress at the event with curves, but youthful and half the size that you were
mm.
at the Sydney event where I saw you 3 months ago, I just go, "Can she see it yet? The rest of the world can."
I think you look in the mirror, and I think women are typical at this. You look in the mirror and you see what is to be done.
Yeah, that's a good
You
point.
forget how far you've come. And I think we're guilty of that in all areas of our lives. We don't, well, I certainly can be tricky in reflecting on an achievement. I achieve it and
Mhm.
go, right, what's next? What's my next goal? We don't pause, and I'm getting better at pausing and being in the moment and celebrating that moment and recognizing that moment. And so, of course, I look in the mirror and I'm like, this is, I'm like, yeah, that's got to, I'm waiting for that to go down a little bit and I'm waiting for this and I'm waiting for that. And so I'm so glad that I've taken photographs because I'm really not measuring through numbers. I am measuring through clothes, which is kind of numbers, but not really because it depends which cut of clothes you get. Um,
Yeah,
as to, you can have the same size in four different types of jeans and some will fit you and some won't.
exactly.
But I did go down to my next size of jeans because my other ones, I actually was moving. If you ever want to see my Facebook, we were moving a load of big rocks this weekend, which was very
Yeah, I
exciting.
saw
Like I
that.
need to get out more. I was so excited about moving the rocks. And so I put my old, really big baggy jeans on because I thought I don't care if they get ripped. I don't care if they get broken because they're too big anyway. And the other size of jeans, it was the same size, but a different cut. And when I first put them on, they were very snug. Like I'd say there was a teeny tiny little muffin there, muffin top.
Mhm.
And then you think, "Oh, is it working? Like, am I dropping?" Because I know it's like plateau and then drop and then plateau and then drop. And I'm like, "I'm in a
Yeah,
plateau phase."
yes.
And then I put those jeans on and I was like, "Oh, there's an inch to spare." Whereas,
This
I
was
was like,
the
"Okay, it
ones
must
that
be
had
working."
this was the jeans that had been the muffin top jeans. There was an inch to spare suddenly when you put them on. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, this was the second pair of jeans. So I've gone like sort of sideways into a pair because it's technically the same size, but a slimmer cut.
Yeah,
And when I first put them on, they were a little bit snug, but I thought, well, I'd rather be a little bit snug than walk around in these clown pants that are making me look like I've got an elephant arse. And so I went down into the sideways one, and I put them on, and I went, oh, there's an inch to spare. So I've gone from a little muffin to an inch gap. So I thought, well, it is working.
It is working, and then the big floppy ones you put on to kind of do the yard work, were they falling off? They must have been falling off you. If
They
they
weren't
fit you.
falling off. Yeah, because they do. They weren't falling off because I wasn't racing around, and we were doing slow
Yeah,
moving, it's relocating these huge boulders. But yeah, I mean, they made me look huge because, I mean, I
yeah,
was holding them out. I lifted my top and I said to him, look at this. And there's like 6 inches. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah,
right.
they were fine. But yeah, it was good to have them on, and they got all dirty and whatever. And I didn't care because obviously they don't fit me anymore. But yeah, no, it's great. And it was lovely to feel. I looked like I had a figure on Friday night. I looked like I had a figure, and
You did.
it was a voluptuous figure for sure, and I was okay with that. Like I felt good. Would
Yeah,
I like to scoop it in a little bit? Yes, and that's why I'm looking forward to the 6 month, 9 month, 12-month mark. And I was
yeah.
thinking, because even in the award photographs, where one of my girlfriends took some photographs of me on the stage receiving the award, my neck is still a little bit puffy, and I noticed that in the
Mm.
photographs, but I shared them because I would have felt at one stage embarrassed by my double chin. But this was more slim. It was a slimmer, but I still had that bit on my neck as a little bit puffy here. But I thought, I'm looking forward to next year, and I'll get somebody to take a shot of me next year and see what my neck looks like.
And you're going to have to prepare yourself emotionally for when you have to give away that dress because it's not gonna fit you. This is the thing. Sometimes we have clothes we love. That dress is so your friend right now because you were excited about wearing it. You looked beautiful in it. It fit you gorgeously. You had a figure, and it's a beautiful dress. And then there comes that moment where you put it on and you realize it's hanging on you like a sack. The most beautiful dress, when it's way too big, looks like a sack. So you could either go and get it altered, or you have to just say goodbye to it. And it's always a sad
I will
moment when you have to
gift it to somebody else to have their moment in it, I think.
yeah, exactly. And then look forward to, like you said, going shopping for its replacement for the next award ceremony. And have you noticed changes in your metabolism? And what I mean is that two different things. One is like doing that work in the backyard. For example, I've been working a lot more on my property in Australia. When they say property, they mean like a large block. I don't have a large block, but it's still a lot of work with all the landscaping and green waste I have to take care of. And I'm not hiring anybody to do it anymore. There's some pruning of hedges and things that are up too high, and I do the front of it and I let someone else come and do the top. But 90% of it I do myself now, and I haven't for 10 years. I haven't been able to because I just didn't have the stamina. And my hands hurt, the arthritis was so bad. I just couldn't even push the mower around. Anybody who's got an mower that has an automatic, like a self-propelled feature, you've got the main handle, you've got this other handle that you pull
Lever.
up. A lever. Well, it's a lever, but it's kind of like a handle-shaped lever. So you've got to kind of pull them together. And then it's got a third one, which is for the self-propelled thing. And I called headquarters, still headquarters, and said, do you have any like adjustment or something for people with arthritis? This is what I had done like 4 years ago. I said, "It's painful to use my lawnmower." And that was one of the other reasons, not to mention I didn't have the stamina because I have 3 kind of lawn areas, front, back, and side. And so I could do one of them at a time, and then I have to wait a day to do the other one and so on. And, yeah, they came back and they said, "Yeah, we get that a lot from people that arthritis it's a problem using the mower like this." No problem anymore. No problem. And the stamina's there. I'll do all 3 lawns, just whip around, take care of it. I don't sweat. I mean, unless it's really stinking hot, but I don't wanna go out there and do it in the middle of the day anyway. And, so I've noticed that change in my metabolism. That's my sort of my stamina and my strength. when I work my body, the recovery is so fast. Not to mention, I can keep sort of working if on some physical task, whether it's moving things around or gathering leaves or trimming green waste, and I can feel that I'm working my body. It's not effortless, but it's like it reaches this kind of point where my body is in work mode, my muscles are engaged, but I never go to fatigue, which is really weird because I used to go to fatigue really fast, and now I feel like I don't go to fatigue at all, let alone really fast. But the second one is that I can eat so many more calories than I ever, and I was never a mad calorie counter, but I did go through periods where I was keeping track, for short periods of time, those times when I was looking at the scale every single day. And I've definitely raised my metabolism eating this way. And the evidence of that is just when I look at the amount of meat that I eat, it's like twice the calories I used to eat when I was struggling and a lot, like 18 kilos overweight. So have you noticed, just in terms of the volume of food, like the meat, as you've gone through the journey, it might be too soon to notice, but have you noticed that kind of metabolic change? Because you were on, like you said, 2 medical shakes and a salad per day, which was probably about 800 calories, preparing you. For anybody watching this that doesn't know the backstory, you were going to have gallbladder surgery in a month, and the doctor wanted you to lose weight so that you could get ready for the surgery. So you were on a very low calorie diet and you weren't losing anything. So your metabolism had slowed down, had cooled so much in response to getting this message constantly that you were in a famine. Have you noticed that your volume of food that you're able to eat is increasing over the course of the last 3 months? Okay.
I think the interesting thing is I just honor my body now. So I
Yeah.
think I told you the day before my period last month, I was ravenous one day. I was like, everyone get out of my way. Do not get between me and my food. And it's like
Yeah.
eating ridiculous amounts. And then I got my period.
Right.
So I was like, aha, that's interesting. And so I would say like some days I have like 2 meals and I'm like, I'm good. Other days I'm hungry and I eat. Like, this is the first time in my life I've really honored my body. Like previously, I'd be hungry, I'd have a bag of chips, or I'd have some chocolate, and I did have some chocolate last night. I had some cocoa chocolate last night. But do you know what I mean? I would eat contraband because I was hungry rather than eating to feed my body. And now I eat to feed my body. And I'm very, sort of connected with that now. So I would say I'm honoring my body for the first time in my life. If I'm hungry, I eat. I do not starve myself. I don't function well like that. I'm definitely one of those hangry people. So I don't like being hungry at all. I don't function in any way. I turn into a monster. And so if I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. So I think that's the simplest answer for that one. But I was thinking the other day, we were going to some event at school because we've broken up now, but it's all these events you've got to go to. And of course, there were no parking spaces anywhere near the school. So I had to park all the way out the supermarket. And it's not a massive distance, but when you're like, you're hot footing it to get there to get a seat to see a kid sing for the 5 minutes they're singing or whatever, you've got to move your butt basically. And I was power walking from the supermarket to the school, and it's a very, very slight incline. It's not a triathlon or anything. But previously, I'd have been huffed and puffed and I'd have really felt it. And it was only when I was just about at the school, I thought, this is really easy. Like I'm walking this effortlessly. And like previously, I'd have been like, trying not to get too red by the time I got into the hall for all the parents to see. Oh my God, she can't walk from the supermarket without having a heart attack. And this time it was only when I was virtually at the school. I thought, that's been really easy. I'm not huffed. I'm not puffed. I'm not red. This is like really a simple thing. So that was a really you have these little nice aha moments where your life just gets a little bit easier. And it's so
Yeah.
lovely when you recognize those times.
Beautifully said. And that's exactly the kind of thing I wanted to know if you'd experienced. So I'm so happy that you are noticing that stuff. Cathy, I'm going to let you go because I know you've got some important meetings and clients and so on right now. Next week will be week 16, which will be your 90 days. So my math is usually so bad. Am I correct? Is it week 16? We're week 15 this week. Week 16. Yes, that's 90 days. No,
It's
is
3
that
months
4
is normally
months?
90 days, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, I'm so glad I asked you. Oh, 120 days.
112.
Yeah, 112 a, a week from now. All right. So your 100 days is well, we've passed 100 days. Yeah, so it's the 4-month mark when I see you next in the lead up to Christmas. So I look forward to that. And congratulations again on your well-deserved win and the beautiful pictures, and that you had a fabulous time. And I look forward to catching up with you next week. Everybody, please like and subscribe to this channel. Take care and enjoy your carnivore way of eating.